Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into job interviews today? We're tackling how to make you stand out and land that dream job.
Ooh, dream job. Sounds exciting.
It is, and it can be tough out there. That's where we're digging into the Riderflex guide, Mastering Job Interviews. This book is seriously packed with useful stuff.
It's interesting, how much it focuses on what the interviewer's thinking, like what's going on in our head.
Right, it's almost like psychology. And you know what really surprised me? It turns out interviewers don't spend that much time on resumes.
Yeah, it does kind of make you rethink those late nights perfecting the font.
Totally. But get this, the book says what matters is a strong verbal resume overview. Basically, it's like your elevator pitch, you know?
Makes sense. Steve Urban, the Riderflex founder, he talks about this in the book, how he uses his own story, his journey from Oklahoma to, CEO. It becomes like this captivating narrative.
I love that, using the tell me about yourself as a chest to hook them, almost like a movie trailer for your career.
Exactly. And he picks out key moments that show his leadership style, not just listing facts.
So it's all about storytelling.
Exactly. And the book takes it even further with this idea of memorable moments. You don't have to put all your achievements right up front. You can save the best for last.
Ooh, like a grand finale.
Exactly. And connect those moments to what the job needs. So say they want someone who's a great leader.
You'd save that amazing story about leading your team through a crisis until the very end. That's powerful. Way better than just saying, I'm a leader.
It's showing, not telling.
Oh, man.
So it makes you think, what are your memorable moments? What makes you perfect for the job?
Okay, let's get real. Virtual interviews. They're everywhere now. I'll be honest, they still kind of make me nervous. Any advice?
I think everyone feels that way. The book really highlights that you've got to show you're comfortable with remote work. Like if you've been managing remote teams, even if it wasn't your official title.
Mention it. That's so important.
Exactly. And practice makes perfect. Set up some mock interviews, get used to the tech, and even though it's virtual, dress professionally.
Oh, yeah, that virtual background. I once had a friend forget to blur theirs during an interview. Laundry piles everywhere. Not a good look.
Definitely not. So we've talked about resumes, we've talked about being virtual. Now let's talk about connection. Building rapport with the interviewer.
Okay, getting to the heart of it, I love how this guy talks about that human element. Active listening, genuine interest. It even talks about mirroring the interviewer's style.
Yeah, mirroring. Isn't that like manipulative?
Not necessarily. Think of it as finding a rhythm in the conversation. So if they're super formal, you wouldn't want to be overly casual. Just creating a comfortable flow.
So it's about finding that shared language, but how do you do that without seeming fake?
The book gives some good examples. It's like subtle cues, matching their energy, their tone of voice. It's not just copying. It's about showing you get them. Gotcha. Makes sense. The book also talks about matching your values with the company's. That's so important to me. Who wants a soul-crushing job?
No one. And the book encourages talking about your passions, even weaving them into your professional story.
Like Steve Urban's camping stories. He talks about how being outdoors connects to his leadership. Resilience, resourcefulness. It makes him more than just another CEO.
It makes him memorable. It's about you, the real you. And when your values match the company's, that's powerful.
Okay, deep breath. Time for the dread question. Why are you interested in this job? I always feel like it's a trap.
The book is good on this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about your why. Why are you doing any of this? How does this job fit into that?
So not just about the paycheck or liking their product. It's deeper. It's about your goals, your purpose.
Right. It's where your skills, your interest, and what the company needs all meet. If you can explain that, you'll stand out. Big time.
Okay, brace yourselves, everyone. Time to talk about the thing nobody likes to talk about, salary negotiation.
I know. The book has some surprising advice here. Don't reveal your current salary.
Whoa, really? I always thought honesty was best. But now that I think about it...
Yeah, it can totally backfire. By keeping that number to yourself, you're focusing on your worth, not what you're used to.
Smart.
And this is where research is huge. Know the salary range for similar jobs. Go on Glassdoor, do your homework.
Because knowledge is power, right?
Exactly. And practice saying it out loud. The actual negotiation can be nerve-wracking.
Makes sense. Even if you know your worth, actually saying those numbers can be tough.
It takes practice. And now for something that totally surprised me. The book says to share free advice during the interview. Like, isn't that giving away your best ideas?
It does sound kind of crazy, but the book calls it the generosity advantage. It's about showing your expertise by actually helping them.
Exactly. If they mention a problem, offer some insights. Obviously, be careful about any confidential stuff.
Right, don't give away any trade secrets,
Yeah.
but show them you're already thinking like part of the team.
Right. And it sets you apart from others who are just focused on what they can get. So, thinking bigger picture now, the book also talks about networking with recruiters, even if you're not job hunting right now.
Always be networking. It's like planting seeds for the future.
Exactly. Building those relationships early on can really pay off.
Okay, speaking of connections, what about LinkedIn? Is it just a boring online resume or something more?
It's so much more. Think keywords, think engagement. The book has a whole chapter on making LinkedIn work for you, not just listing your past jobs, but showcasing what you're capable of.
So it's like your digital highlight reel. We've covered a lot today. Verbal resumes, virtual presence, generosity, and LinkedIn. This book is packed with goodness.
It's fascinating how it all comes back to that human element, understanding the interviewer, connecting on a personal level, and really showcasing who you are.
Absolutely. And before we wrap up part one, there's one more thing that really resonated with me. Cultural fit. Oh boy, have I learned this one the hard way.
It's so important. It's not just about whether your skills match the job description. It's about finding a company where your values and work style align with theirs.
So how do you figure that out during the interview? It's not like they just hand you a culture manual.
That's a great question. The book suggests, and I love this, interviewing your interviewers. Ask them about their experience, what they enjoy most about working there. It's like getting that inside scoop, right? The book also says ask about the team dynamic, their vision for the future, and their approach to employee development.
So basically you're playing detective a little bit, trying to figure out if you'll actually thrive there.
Exactly. Remember, cultural fit goes both ways. They need to fit you too, not just the other way around.
Okay, let's talk about something that can be awkward. Canceling interviews. Things happen, you need to reschedule. How do you do that without looking bad?
The book has a story about a candidate who canceled like minutes before the interview. Not a good look.
Yikes. So what's the right way to handle it?
Be upfront. As soon as you know, reach out, explain what's going on, and if you can, offer some other times you're free.
Basic courtesy, but it goes a long way. Okay, let's talk about something that can really give you an edge. The book calls it the power of known entities.
It's fascinating, right? Basically, it means if someone can vouch for you, it reduces the risk for the hiring manager, like a friend recommending you.
So it's not just who you know, but who knows you and your work.
Exactly. That's why networking is so important. Go to events, connect on LinkedIn, even grab coffee with old colleagues. You never know who might be able to help.
Every interaction could be an opportunity. Okay, interviews can be stressful. How do you keep things professional, avoid any drama?
The book talks about this from both sides, the candidate and the interviewer. For candidates, stay focused. Don't get defensive. Keep a positive attitude even if you're freaking out inside.
Easier said than done, right?
Totally. But remember, interviewers are people too. Everyone has off days. And for interviewers, create a welcoming space. Offer water. Explain the process clearly. Little things make a difference.
It's about respect, right? Making everyone feel comfortable even when there's pressure.
Exactly. Okay, I have to confess I have a love-hate relationship with email.
Tell me about it. Essential, but also a huge time suck.
The book actually talks about this too. It's like know when to use it and when to just pick up the phone.
So it's not about ditching email completely, just being smarter about it.
Right. Complex stuff, sensitive topics, just call. It's more human. You know, there's this story in the book about how Steve Urban messed up big time early in his career, but he turned it into a win.
Okay, tell me more.
He was trying to impress some colleagues and ended up damaging a company vehicle. Big yikes.
Oh, no. I bet he wanted to disappear.
He went straight to his supervisor, apologized, took full responsibility.
That's tough to do, especially when you're worried about getting fired.
I know, right? But guess what? His supervisor was so impressed with his honesty, he gave Steve a promotion.
Whoa. What a turnaround. Talk about turning a disaster into an opportunity.
It shows that owning your mistakes can actually work in your favor. Okay, switching gears a bit. Social media. We all use it. But how do we use it well, professionally speaking?
Like some minefield out there.
The book says, basically, treat everyone online like you would in person. Be respectful, be positive. You know, basic human decency.
Easy to forget sometimes when you're behind a screen.
Totally. And remember, what you post can stick around. It affects your reputation. Okay, let's talk about something that's super important, but maybe not as trendy as some other topics. Work ethic.
Back to basics.
Yeah, the book is big on this. It's like, no matter what job you have, even if it's not your dream job, Work ethic matters. There's a story about Steve seeing two guys at a restaurant. One was bragging about flacking off at work.
Ouch, not a good impression.
Right. It made Steve question the guy's character. The book is saying even temporary jobs matter. Your habits follow you.
You're building a reputation whether you realize it or not.
Exactly. So start now. Be reliable, be dedicated. Those things will help you in any job.
Okay, let's get real. You can prepare perfectly, nail the interview, and still not get the job. That's tough.
It is. The book actually talks about this. Why you might not get an offer even if you think you did great.
Okay, I'm curious. Why?
Sometimes, and this is hard to hear, they just might not like you.
Ouch. But I guess that happens. Personalities clash.
Right. And the other thing is, the competition is fierce. You might be amazing, but someone else might be even more amazing.
It's like the Olympics of job hunting.
Exactly. And the worst part is, companies often don't give specific feedback. Legally, it's tricky for them.
So you're left wondering what went wrong.
It's tough. The book says see every interview as practice. What went well? What could you do better? Talk to friends, mentors, get feedback.
Turn rejection into a learning experience.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about you as a person. It's just a redirection. Okay, job hopping. It's a thing, right? Is it good? Bad?
Everyone seems to be doing it these days.
The book presents a different perspective. Staying with a company for a while has its benefits. You learn a lot, you build strong connections, you show loyalty. Those things matter.
But what if you feel stuck? Like there's no room to grow?
The book says, yeah, sometimes you got to move on. If you're not learning, if your values don't align with the company, it's time for a change. It's about finding that balance.
Stability versus growth. Got it. Okay, this might seem old school, but what about voicemail? Does anyone even listen to those anymore?
The book says yes. It's your first impression when someone can't reach you. Make sure your greeting is professional. No jokes, no weird music.
I've definitely heard some cringe-worthy ones. Makes you wonder about the person.
Right. Keep it short, clear, professional. And make sure your contact info is up to date. Speaking of tech, the book also mentions ChatGPT. You can use it to practice for interviews.
Oh, that's interesting, like having a virtual interview coach.
Exactly. It can help you answer those tough questions, simulate a whole interview.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get a little personal. Job searching, especially after a layoff or a career change, it can be emotionally draining.
The ups and downs are tough. One minute you're hopeful, the next you're devastated.
The book talks about self-care. Celebrate the wins, learn from the losses, and surround yourself with people who support you.
Having a good support system is everything.
It is. And remember, rejection is normal. It's part of the process. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. Okay, there's this great story in the book about Steve and how he decided to go group camping. He's a solo camper, so this was a big step outside his comfort zone.
What happened?
He was hesitant at first, but he ended up making new friends and even found a new business opportunity.
Wow. Talk about unexpected benefits. Sometimes you just have to take that leap.
Right. It goes back to what we were saying about it, asking questions and listening. Be curious, be present. The book really stresses active listening. Pay attention to their words, their body language, their tone. It's about really understanding the other person.
It's like a superpower these days, being a good listener.
Totally. Okay, let's talk about hustle again. But what does it actually look like in real life? Not just the Instagram version.
Right, the glamorous version.
The book says it's about setting goals, having a plan, and putting in the work consistently. It's not about being busy. It's about being effective.
And it's about knowing that success takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. You're going to face setbacks, but you learn from them and keep going. Okay, time for a confession. I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Me too. Always striving for that unattainable ideal.
The book talks about this. It's about embracing imperfection in yourself and others in the world. Let go of that need to be perfect.
Focus on progress, not perfection.
Exactly. Find work you're passionate about. When you love what you do, those imperfections matter less. Okay, let's rewind a bit. Remember that question? Why did Johnny get promoted and you didn't?
Ugh, the worst. It can really eat away at you.
The book digs into this. It's not always just about hard work. Sometimes it's about being visible, having the right connections, timing, even company culture.
It's like a whole ecosystem of factors.
Exactly. Show off your accomplishments, take initiative, be a problem solver. Be proactive, basically.
And sometimes it's just luck, right? Being in the right place at the right time.
The book says focus on learning, growing your skills, building a good reputation. When the opportunity comes, you'll be ready.
Okay, let's talk about something we've probably all experienced. The demanding boss. You know, the one with sky-high expectations.
The book has some good advice for this one. Setting boundaries is key.
So it's okay to push back a little.
It's not about being difficult. It's about being clear. Talk to your boss about your workload, deadlines. If something's unrealistic, say something.
But what if they get mad?
The book says clear communication shows strength, not weakness. And be realistic. If you can't do something, say it early on. Don't wait until it's too late.
Don't set yourself up for failure.
Exactly. And document everything. Keep track of your projects, deadlines. It's like having proof if there's ever a question.
I like that, like receipts for your work.
And if you're really struggling, don't be afraid to talk to someone higher up or even HR. Get some support. You don't have to deal with it alone. And take care of yourself. Demanding bosses can be super stressful. Take breaks. Make time for yourself.
Okay, virtual interviews again. I feel like I need a whole guide just for those.
The book has a whole section. Treat them like regular interviews. Dress professionally. Find a quiet spot. Make sure your tech works.
And don't forget to check that virtual background. I've seen some hilarious fails.
We all have. And even though it's virtual, nonverbal cues still matter. Make eye contact with the camera. Smile. Project that positive energy.
Okay, let's revisit the generosity advantage. It's about offering advice during the interview, right?
Right. Show them you're already thinking like a team member. If they mention a problem, offer some solutions based on your experience. Just be careful about confidential stuff.
So it's like a mini consulting session.
Exactly. But don't give away any trade secrets. It's about showing your expertise and passion. Okay, let's talk about something that's super frustrating. Recruiters who ghost you.
It's happened to me, and it's the worst.
I know. It's disappointing. But the book says try not to take it personally. Recruiters are busy, they might be overwhelmed, or maybe they're just bad communicators.
So don't assume it's about you.
Exactly. Follow up politely, but don't be pushy. It's not a reflection of your worth. Okay, job hopping again. Is it always a good thing?
It seems like everyone's doing it these days.
The book challenges that. Staying with a company has its perks. Deep expertise, strong relationships, loyalty. Those are valuable.
But what if you're not growing or learning?
Right. Sometimes a change is needed. It's about finding the right balance for you and your goals.
Got it. Okay, one more thing. The book talks about chemistry in interviews. You know, when you just click with someone.
It's so important. The book says hiring managers often go with their gut feeling, even if someone looks perfect on paper.
So it's not just about skills, it's about personality, connection.
Exactly. Be yourself, be engaging, try to find common ground with the interviewer. And remember, chemistry goes both ways.
Yeah.
You should feel it too. It's almost like you're interviewing them too, making sure they're a good fit for you. And it's not just about liking them, it's about seeing if their values and work style align with yours. It's like, can you see yourself thriving in that environment?
Right. You've got to feel that energy. Okay, let's talk about something that sometimes gets overlooked. Soft skills. Everyone focuses on those hard skills, the technical stuff. But what about those softer interpersonal skills?
Those are huge. The book actually talks about this a lot. Communication, teamwork, problem-solving, critical thinking, adaptability, even emotional intelligence.
It's like the stuff that makes you a good human to work with.
Exactly. And the best part is you can learn these skills. It takes practice, self-awareness, being open to feedback, but it's so worth it.
So it's never too late to work on those skills. Now, the book talks a lot about stepping out of your comfort zone. Honestly, I'm kind of a creature of habit. I like my routine.
I get it. Change can be scary. But the book has all these stories about people who took risks, tried new things, and it totally paid off. It's like that's where the magic happens.
When you push yourself, you discover things you didn't even know you were capable of.
Exactly. Whether it's taking on a new project, learning a new skill, or even just speaking up more in meetings, getting out of that comfort zone can really help you grow.
Okay, remember when we talked about hustle? Let's dig into that a little more. What does it really mean to have that hustler's mindset?
Yeah, it's more than just working hard, right? It's a whole attitude.
The book defines it as having that drive, that commitment to excellence, and being willing to put in the work even when things get tough.
So it's about working smarter, not just harder.
Exactly. It's about setting goals, making a plan, taking action. And when you hit a roadblock, you learn from it and keep going.
Okay, let's talk about something that could be super nerve-wracking. Salary negotiation. How do you approach those conversations feeling confident and prepared?
I always feel like I'm going to mess it up.
I think we all do. But the book gives some really helpful advice. First, research is key. Know the market rate for your position. Use sites like Glassdoor.
So you know what you're worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, negotiation isn't just about the number. It's about the whole package. Benefits, vacation time, flexibility.
Got it. It's a whole conversation.
Uh,
Okay, let's talk about the emotional side of job searching, especially after a layoff or a big career change. It can be a real roller coaster.
It is. It's so easy to get caught up in the ups and downs. One minute you're hopeful, the next you're feeling lost.
It's exhausting.
The book really emphasizes self-care during this time. Having people you can talk to, celebrating the small wins, learning from the setbacks, and remembering that it's a process. It takes time.
Okay, remember the story about Steve trying group camping for the first time? It really got me thinking.
It's a great reminder to step outside your comfort zone, right?
Exactly. Sometimes those scary, unfamiliar things end up being the most rewarding. You never know what you'll discover.
And it ties into something else that the book talks about, asking questions and really listening. It sounds simple, but in today's world, it's so important.
Being a good listener is a superpower these days.
It shows you're truly interested, present in the moment. And when you ask thoughtful questions, it helps you understand the other person, build a connection. That's crucial in any interaction, especially job interviews.
Okay, one last time, let's revisit hustle. Not just the concept, but what it actually looks like in the real world.
It's about setting clear goals and having a solid plan. Taking action consistently, even when it's hard. It's about learning from those inevitable setbacks and using them to fuel your growth. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress.
And surrounding yourself with people who support your journey.
Exactly. People who believe in you, who will challenge you and celebrate your wins. And speaking of challenges, let's talk about that inner critic, the one that tells you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not whatever enough. The book has a lot to say about perfectionism.
Oh, yeah, I struggle with that one.
It's so common. But the book encourages us to embrace imperfection. Let go of that need to be perfect, because guess what? No one is. Focus on progress, on learning, on growing.
Easier said than done, but I'm working on it.
Me too. And remember, find work that you're passionate about, a company where you feel valued and supported. It's not about finding the perfect job or the perfect boss. It's about finding the best fit for you. Okay, last time, I promise. Remember that question. Why did Johnny get promoted and you didn't? Let's unpack that a bit more.
Ugh, that question keeps me up at night sometimes.
It's tough. The book reminds us that promotions aren't always just about merit. It's a complex mix of things. Visibility, connections, timing, company culture. Sometimes it's just plain luck.
So it's not always a personal failing if you don't get the promotion.
Exactly. It's more about being strategic. Make sure your work is seen, build those relationships, develop your skills, and be patient. When the right opportunity comes along, you'll be ready. So there you have it. We've explored a ton of insights from the Riderflex Guide, mastering job interviews, from crafting a killer resume to navigating tricky situations with bosses and coworkers to embracing the power of hustle and finding a company that truly aligns with your values. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive and feel empowered to go out there and rock your next job interview. Remember, you've got this.
Absolutely. You've got the knowledge, the tools, and the mindset to succeed. Now go out there and make it happen.